Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a run, baby.
Yeah, we're here for good now. Fall has started.
Yeah. No more of this. Nothing works.
We're
not gonna do it.
Do a lot of shows from now on. Live from your CEO's mega option grant. It's yet another Manic Monday edition of Business Pants, joined by the Lord of Analyst Holes. Wait.
Oh.
Is that your name?
I'm not the Lord of that. It's that.
Just Analyst Hole. Analyst Hole, Matt Mascardi.
Yeah, there you go.
In today's broken record that it is, called September 11th, 2023. Wow. It's the Arbiter of Truth. Back in the studio. Me. That's you, Matt Mascardi, the Arbiter of Truth. Matt, I have a ton of different headlines grouped into different categories, and I ask very simple superlative questions like, which is the best? And you, as the Arbiter of Truth, get to grace the audience with your witticisms, your answers, your truth.
Let's pretend I have those.
Your Vivek truth. You're the new Vivek.
Yes. Vivek and I are on the truth.
Oh, Vivek should have played this game.
I know. He should have. He should have, but we're going to have to default to me because he's ignoring us.
Well, there was some footage on the campaign trail of the truth sign that he walks around with. I guess he puts it on the bus. It fell on him. The truth sign fell right on his head. So I'm wondering, will the free float sign behind you, could it fall on your head today?
No, it cannot.
Why?
Because we do actual truth here.
Okay.
That's the big difference.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do this thing. We need to play something.
You need a little game showy music or some kind of exciting macho, football. It's football season, right? Something football-y.
You want like?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
There you go. We're gonna get sued for this, but
hopefully
we'll start us off this way.
Well, it might be good for the NFL to sue us because I can't think of anything more boring than yesterday. I was looking at the news headlines. It's just like, does anybody care anymore about football? About anything really? But
no.
Especially football?
No, that's really just us.
Care.
Well, we're also, Tom Brady retired.
Post Tom Brady.
And now life is meaningless
good,
for
thank
New
you.
England fans.
Tom Brady, thank you for retiring because it feels good not to care about the NFL anymore.
It is a good feeling.
Yeah. Mac Jones, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I just like mac and cheese.
Come on, let's go.
Do this thing.
Here we go. In no particular order. These categories, none of them make any real sense, but I'll give it a shot. Here we go. That's it? I don't have any music? Oh, you already played it.
No, I already played you in.
Here we go.
You can't play it for the whole time.
First category, Brattiest CEO story. The Brattiest CEO. Ready? Here we go. The Airbnb IPO was a huge success, but CEO Brian Chesky says it was, quote, one of the saddest periods of his life.
Why?
I guess because
he made like billions of dollars.
He made billions of dollars, and he's pretty much ruined renting for the entire Western world. Really, since Airbnb debuted, local rents in cities have gone haywire. Everyone's angry. Everyone hates Airbnb. Nobody even trusts it anymore anyway because, I'm sure they're all laced with cameras and recording equipment. But the point is, Matt, he worked so hard that he became lonely. So he ramrodded this horrible company down our throats, but he's sad. So that's the first headline.
So it turns out that being the CEO and working 24 hours a day to ruin entire industries does not fulfill you.
To basically ignore local regulations and to just push through ahead with your growth plan. Yeah.
Got it. Hyper-scaling doesn't make you happy.
Second Brattiest CEO story of the week. Here's an old favorite, Matt. Probably, your favorite, really. Boeing CEO David Calhoun.
Oh, I love this already.
Is commuting to the office by private jet.
Yes. All right.
And I guess according to the Wall Street Journal, some Boeing employees are making fun of him.
Really?
So it turns out that he over the last 3 years, he's made about 400 trips on his private airplane from one of his two homes, either from New Hampshire's Lake Sunapee or from a gated South Carolina resort community. This guy has two resort homes, right? And it's prompted, according to the Wall Street Journal now, this is not even the Business Insider. It's prompted some of Boeing employees to hang signs and to have mugs that read "Love Lake Life." I don't even know what that means, but
yeah,
I like
that's
I
a
like
little like that's very passive aggressive.
I don't
like,
even know
can
what's
it
going
get a
on,
little
yeah.
bit more aggressive? That's very passive aggressive.
I guess one of the biggest reason for the story is that, Boeing offers very few work opportunities, very few remote work opportunities. In fact, they've been pushing a culture to be at work, but the guy spends a lot of time at his lake houses. I guess that's the takeaway here.
I
Not for the
believe it
CEO.
was David Boeing saying
David Calhoun,
that.
yeah.
Or sorry, David Boeing. It might as well be.
Yeah.
David Calhoun
One of
said
my favorite artists, David Boeing.
that they could not decarbonize because the problems with sustainable aviation fuel, and that all of the promises that they made were basically they were over promised. Meanwhile, taking 400 trips a year in a privite
Did he
airplane
say that from New Hampshire in his jet?
between like places that are like an hour flight, a 30-minute flight or whatever. Congratulations, David. All right, so that's
We're
very
going
high in the running.
In the third Brattiest CEO story of the week, this is a doozy. Flexport CEO Ryan Peterson announced on social media that his logistics company was rescinding dozens of job offers on Friday morning. Okay, just bear with me here.
Rescinding?
Just bear with me. This is the longest one I'm going to present to you today in this game show, but I had to do it. Of course, he posts this on all places, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Okay, I don't know why human resource announcements are made on Twitter. I mean, he should be fired just for that. That just seems like a breach of everything, honestly. But here's what he said. Here's the exact quote. Flexport is rescinding a bunch of signed offer letters for people who were starting as soon as this Monday. I am deeply sorry to those people who are expecting to join our company and won't be able to at this time. It's messed up, but no way around it. We have had a hiring freeze for months. I have no ideas why more than 75 people were signed to join. All of this has been canceled except for a handful of roles directly, blah, 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 blah. A Flexport team member will reach out to each of you personally. I hope you will forgive us someday and even consider coming to work here again once we get our house in order. First of all, there's no again. I mean, they're not really starting it. But this is can you believe this announcement? This is crazy.
I mean, this actually makes the guy who fired everyone over Zoom look like a
way
superstar
better
CEO. That's
way
like
better.
Really
that was like
shocking.
that was like an operational mishap. This guy is nuts.
Just think of the process here. You have to be following him on a platform that there aren't very many people on.
How about you just
because
send
it's
a
run by
personal
insane
email?
person.
How about you have HR or just send them an email? I mean,
Because you can't say things like,
public?
dude, totes sorry that we can't hire you, but super hope you'll come around later. Like, what is...
Why do you want this public anyway? It just makes you look like a fool. But okay, those
I don't
are your
know
three
that
choices.
this makes him bratty. I think
Okay,
this
whatever.
makes him an idiot. I'm going to go with...
You could change the category. You can take the most idiotic CEO story, whatever
No,
you
because
want.
the other two are bratty.
All right,
and
you pick one.
The winner in this category, without a doubt, is CEO David Calhoun flying
Oh, did I just
everywhere under the sun. They were forcing employees to go back to work. Last check, most Boeing employees do not have several lake houses that they can take private jets to and from.
True.
So that would be the
That is the
bratty
correct
move.
answer.
I'm sad that Brian Chesky actually thought that running Airbnb would fill the hole in his heart, or IPOing, like capital markets somehow fulfill you. And Flexport CEO Ryan Peterson, I'm pretty sure, is a moron. Like, he should be fired outright. That's it.
Moving on, best. Okay, so it's revealed in the
Hold
new
on. Ready?
Yeah. Oh, every time. I like that.
Every time. I want to
In
do it
the
every
new
time.
biography due on the shelves tomorrow about Elon Musk, from Walter Jacobson. I believe it was the same author behind the Steve Jobs biography.
Yes.
I listened to that one. That's the only
It was
book
a
I
good
ever
one.
listened to on tape. I enjoyed that one. Best. So it was revealed that Grimes actually has a third kid with Elon Musk. I don't know why this was hidden. I don't really understand any of this. I don't really care.
I'm not
But let
gonna-
me get right to the point. What is the best kid name? The best Grimes Musk kid name?
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna give you
Just
three-
Grimes Musk, right? Because he's got
Just the
14
Grimes
children.
version of Musk's children. Right?
Okay, got it.
And bear with me. This is going to be difficult for me. I don't Let me start with the easy one, okay? The first one is Techno Mechanicus. That's the nickname
Okay.
is the nickname is Tau, okay?
Okay.
The second one is Exadark Sidereal, nickname Y.
Okay.
And the third one is
Nickname should not be Y.
I don't understand this third one at all. It's I don't know if you know this one, Matt, but it's XAEAX. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do with that one. But the nickname is X. I don't even know what to do with this, Matt. You help me out, bail me out. What is the best name here?
Okay. Well,
Help
I
me.
think the. Oh man. The Sidereal is a thing from Tolkien. Like that's
Okay.
that like references Elvish.
It's already stupid. Is it any wonder that his other children hate him? I mean, this is just craziness.
Techno Mechanicus.
That's the latest child. That's the hidden child. Yeah.
But at least the nickname Tau.
I like that. Tau. It's nice.
That's a fine name. That's a nice name. The one with all the letters in
the one
it,
that
and the X's.
Prince, formerly known as the artist Prince. Yeah. I don't know what that is.
There were pronunciation guides,
Okay.
and it's pronounced some way.
Yeah.
That by far is the worst.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go with Techno Mechanicus
Sure,
as
okay.
the best name. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's
you're right.
the best name.
Moving on.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, you're going to see a trend in this game today is that all of your answers, in fact, will be correct because you're
Will
the
be
arbiter
correct.
of truth. Yes.
Truth.
Yes.
Vivek. This is what
Exactly.
truth sounds like.
All right. Saddest stakeholder headline.
Oh, saddest stakeholder. There's a lot
here we
of
go.
those.
I'll go quickly on this one. Walmart cuts. Matt, Walmart. You know how rich the founding family of Walmart is. Walmart
I do.
Cuts starting pay for new hires who prepare online orders, stock shelves. They cut the starting pay. Okay. Number 2, Wisconsin sawmill has agreed to stop hiring children after a 16-year-old died on the job. That's number 2.
Really? Good work.
That's an agreement that I can get behind, by the way.
That's, you know what? If you're going to agree with something, that seems like one that's worth agreeing
Matt, a
with.
sawmill.
A sawmill.
You can picture what I'm picturing.
When I
right?
was 16, I
Yeah.
worked at Dell's Frozen Lemonade. Like
I was bussing tables. Yeah.
There was no risk.
And finally,
Sawmill seems not great.
a mother is suing Peloton, claiming her son was killed when his bike fell on him. I don't understand.
Oh.
How does that even work, though? Where was he? I don't know. I don't want to get into details there, but did the bike levitate and then come back down? I don't get that one.
I'm going to skip that one because can we say that might not be Peloton's fault entirely?
Sure. I don't know. It's still sad.
But Walmart cutting pay. You know what? This is a clear truth winner.
Yeah.
Wisconsin sawmill stop hiring children.
That seems very woke.
That seems like a clear win, especially as Republicans are trying to eliminate child labor laws.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like a clear win for stakeholders, particularly 16-year-olds working in sawmills.
All right.
So I won that one.
The answer is correct. Next, stupidest CEO headline. Ex-Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz admits he once shunned the Frappuccino. That's pretty stupid.
That is a really dumb headline.
Number 2, David Solomon, DJ D. Sol over there, CEO of Goldman Sachs, defends his leadership of Goldman Sachs on CNBC. The quote, "I don't recognize the caricature that is painted of me." Oh. I thought that one was pretty funny. And finally, even Uber CEO Dara K. thinks the company sucks and treats its drivers like crap. That's because he spent a day behind the wheel. So
that's correct.
And it took him like 5 years before he did this experiment where he actually drove an Uber car, and then he realized that the company, which is built on the backbone of these drivers, was mistreating the drivers. It took him many years.
But there's one clear winner out of these headlines, and it's not the one you think.
Okay.
The clear winner is ex-Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz admits he once shunned the Frappuccino, and here's why.
Why is that? Yeah.
Because the headline writers wrote ex-Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz.
That's the one thing. We must be completely
That
ESG
is
nerds. That's the one thing
false.
I focus on too.
I know he's not currently the CEO, but he is the founder and he's still sitting on the damn board. He's got all the fucking influence in that company. Don't frame it like the guy who used to work here and run the company didn't like the Frappuccino. You've written the headline totally wrong.
Yeah,
it needs to be that the most influential person at Starbucks didn't like one of their drinks. That's how you should have written it.
According to our data, he controls 68% of board influence. That's Free Float Analytics data.
That's
okay,
correct.
Moving on. The worst food headline. Which is the worst?
Oh no. There's so many things that are bad about food headlines.
Just 12% of Americans are eating half of the nation's beef.
Oh, I don't even know where to start with that. That makes me feel so bad.
And the two groups they're referring to are men, especially aged 50 to 65. They're eating over 4 ounces of beef a day. That's disgusting.
Wait, 4 ounces a day?
Yeah, because the research showed that they're eating a disproportionate amount of beef in a day, and disproportionate is defined as 4 or more ounces per day.
That's 4 or more ounces per day, right?
That's true.
That's not 4. That's 4 or more.
Yeah, you
Which
start
means
your baseline is 4. Yeah.
The minimum amount of that these people are eating is 2.5 pounds of beef a week. That's the minimum amount that they're eating.
Yeah. Next headline: snack company behind one chip challenge pulls its extra hot tortilla chip from stores following the death of a 14-year-old. So this is from a company called Paqui that sold this chip. They sold it.
These.
It's dusted with 2 of the world's hottest peppers, and it's sold in a coffin-shaped box. This kid,
that's right.
And this kid bought this chip at a Walgreens. That's right, a Walgreens. So maybe that's why Roz Brewer left Walgreens. Yeah, but anyway, that's the second headline. The third worst food line headline is: did tobacco companies also get us hooked on junk food? New research says yes. They're claiming that the tobacco companies, the sales teams there, were responsible for what has been called pushing, I guess, junk food at us, because they, as part of their diversification process, right? They acquired a lot of junk food.
Yeah, that's
brands.
true.
Is that what happened? Yeah,
that's true.
Okay.
You ready for the answer, though?
Yes.
The truth?
Yes.
The truth answer is definitely the beef answer.
Yeah,
that's
horrible.
There's no doubt that 12% of Americans eating 2.5 pounds of beef per week is an absurd number. The one chip challenge, I know the Paqui challenge, right?
Yeah.
That's like a TikTok, YouTube problem. Like that has nothing to do with the chips. That has everything to do with like kids want to eat the chips so they can get famous on Instagram for like basically vomiting online.
Well, they should sell that chip. That chip should be sold next to the Pall Malls. It probably shouldn't be available to children.
Sure, except that like
no, it won't be available.
TikTok should also not be available to children.
True.
And the tobacco companies, everything they do is terrible. So it's definitely the beef.
So Vivek, our favorite CEO and our favorite anti-ESG crusader, although he's crusading against anti-ESG by creating an ESG company.
Let's be honest about what he's crusading about.
Yeah.
He's crusading against women,
Black people
of color, and gay people. That's it.
Okay.
Right?
So he has this new thing now in his presidential campaign where he wants to deport the children of undocumented people living in America, despite the fact that they are citizens. So if you're born in America under an undocumented person, you, by law, you are a citizen of the United States. He wants to deport those citizens, Matt. Now, I have a better solution.
Yeah.
Why don't we deport the 12% of Americans who are eating all that beef?
That's
my solution.
Where would we send them?
I don't know. It doesn't. Who cares? What do I care? That's not my problem. Do you think Vivek has a plan to where to send these people? He doesn't care.
We could deport them back to... Well, when you deport somebody, you're sending them back somewhere.
Okay, well, send them to like South Africa or like Italy. I don't. That's not my problem, Matt. I don't know. All right. Most dystopian headline.
Ooh, I don't
By
like
the
this
way,
already.
for all of our listeners, and that's probably 3 of you, these are all. Everything here is real. This is all real. Our show is always based all on real.
And my
realness.
choices here are, in fact, the correct choices.
Here we go. Most dystopian headline, and again, these are all headlines that we have collected in our database since Friday. This whole show has been stories since Friday, and we categorize these in a bunch of categories. We make these available on our website, freeflowanalytics.com. So if you want to see more of the headlines that we curate, please go to our platform, freeflowanalytics.com. So most dystopian headline. Walmart is making an unusual move to deter theft by building a mini police station inside one of its stores. I don't like the sound of that.
That sounds not like a great idea.
Burmese pythons are being spotted farther and farther north in Florida. Warming temperatures from climate change could help pythons spread beyond Florida. I don't like the sound of that one.
Okay. Also not great.
Billionaire VC Mark Andreessen welcomes the symbiotic AI future. The quote, "It's going to be a much better way to live." I don't like the sound of that.
That's not true.
No. And finally, according to the UN rights chief Volker Turk, climate change dystopian future already here.
Wow.
So that's a doozy of a list there. What do you got? What do you think? Most dystopian headline.
I mean, I would normally say the correct answer is the dystopian future of climate change is already here. Okay, but that's not the most dystopian headline here, because that headline exists like every day at this point. Like we got like 7 hurricanes out in the Atlantic right now, just like hanging around. I'm going to go with Burmese pythons. Is what I'm going to go with.
Yeah,
that's the correct answer, though. Just think about this.
Yeah.
The number of species that are going to move to your house.
And
I want a full accounting of that.
This is important for most of us in the Northeast region because a lot of us end up living here and choose to live here because we look at the book that tells you that there are there are really very few or none dangerous exotic species out there that are coming to get you.
Forget exotic species. Like you move to New England, which is where we are based in the United States, because there aren't earthquakes, there aren't tornadoes, there aren't tsunamis.
There's just acorns.
There's just there's like beautiful foliage, acorns and chipmunks, and that's what we came for.
We don't have Burmese pythons yet.
We don't have fucking Burmese pythons that we have to deal with, and like crocodiles and like sea level rise isn't going to wipe out the entire of New. We actually, in all the future water reports, like everybody else has no water, and there are like 2 places in the world that have it, and we're one of them, right? Like there's just a lot to like about living here. And Burmese pythons is not one of the things. And now that's the one that feels the most dystopian. It's personal dystopia.
Moving on. Most pointless corporate headline. Most pointless corporate headline.
Ooh, is this pulled from like press releases?
Sure. Here we go. Most pointless corporate headline. Google will require advertisers to add disclosures for AI-generated election ads. Right? And what's that going to solve? What are we doing here?
Note, this was created by AI.
Yeah, AI created the note.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, now I won't listen to this one.
Or how about this one? Tom Brady works for Delta now as a strategic advisor. Seriously.
Delta's worried about having Tom Brady and his deep experience in running an airline strategically advise them.
Yeah.
When they can't get an airplane on time, they have the oldest board. We've looked at the data. Like they have between them and Southwest, it's like old people. They're backtracking on all their like carbon neutral. If I were Tom Brady and I were going in and advising, I'd say, you said you were going to do all these things. Have you done them? And then they would say, well, no. And then, Tom, the way you advise them is you say, then you're not doing your job. You're failing.
I'll say this. according to our data, women on the board of Delta represent only 16% of total influence. And this is not a company that's dominated by one person like Mark Zuckerberg or Howard Schultz.
I know.
It's only 16% of influence. So really, Giselle would have been a better choice, right? I mean, what are we doing with Tom Brady? I mean,
I'm going to go with
most pointless.
But I don't think that's most pointless. I think that's most comedic. I think the most pointless is definitely Google adding disclosures.
Okay. Moving on.
Because, come on.
Yeah. Best, few more today. Best CEO in trouble with the law headline.
You're not Tyson Foods.
Not Tyson Foods. That was a CFO. How dare you? Best CEO in trouble with the law headline. CEO arrested on luxury yacht after woman told police she did not feel safe on board. This is CEO Scott Burke, a company in Colorado called Injury Finance. He was arrested in Nantucket. Here's why I pointed out this story. Because I marvel at the way the corporate world works. So this headline was a couple of days ago. Since then, the company, and I looked, see, this is why I love the Wayback Machine. For those of you who are young, the Wayback Machine takes snapshots of websites to see what was on the website. Just
what a Gen Xer
in the past. Yeah, I love the Wayback Machine for research like this. A mere 5 days ago, CEO Scott Burke was part of the About Us section about how he founded the company. They were kissing his ass. He's already scrubbed from the website. He's already gone.
Wow.
This is how you handle the world in the corporate world, I guess, is you just scrub things. And also, you'd be interested to know, Matt, that Scott Burke's son, Connor, is the company's CIO, and his daughter, Jessica, is the vice president of business development. So I thought you might want to know that, too.
Did they get scrubbed?
Yeah. No, they're still there. That's the first CEO in trouble with the law headline. The second one is CEO Farouk Fatih Ozair of collapsed crypto exchange Thodex gets 11,196-year jail sentence.
Woo! Finally, held to account. What is that? 11,000 years.
11,109. I mean, I thought 11,000 years sounded like a lot, but then when I look at the 196 years, I was like, that sounds like a lot too. I don't know. I'm like, which is worse, 196 years or 11,000 years? I don't even know.
Wait, but was 11,000 like the final number? Like, what was the actual number?
The actual number, I pulled this from the story, 11,196 years, 10 months, and 15 days.
Wow. That's what I like the most, the specificity.
Yeah, even the 10 months and 15 days kind of frightens me a little bit.
Can you imagine, like, at 11,196 years, 10 months, and 12 days, he's like, come on, just like, it's been over 11,000 years. Can I get out now?
So which is the best CEO in trouble with the law headline?
I'm going to go with 11,000 days. Yeah, that one has to be the correct answer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, or 11,000 years. 11,000 year jail sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you're just like, just cap it at forever. Like, just you don't need to have the number of years.
And finally, on today's show, September 11th, 2023, this is the Arbiter of Truth special. Because of technical difficulties, is that the right way to explain it? We had to skip our Friday show on Friday. So Matt, I took all the categories from Friday. I stripped out all the nonsense, and you're going to weigh into what would have won all the categories.
Ooh, I like this.
Ready?
This is my new favorite
story of the week.
We should do this every Friday.
Yes, story of the week. This is for last week's stories. Disney's wildest ride, Iger, Chapek, and the making of an epic succession mess. That was a huge, very interesting article on CNBC. Okay.
Yeah. If you haven't read that article, you want to know why we do a lot of what we do. It's kind of embedded in there. Like it talks about how Iger handpicked the board over 15 years, how the interplay of power and dynamics at Disney worked. Great story.
And not to mention
story of the week.
How he bypassed the succession planning process that should have been controlled by the board and the nomination committee by basically going on a hunch.
Yeah, and he nominated Chapek to the board saying, like, this is our guy. And they were like, are you sure? And he was like, yep. and that was the succession plan, and then it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So shock.
That was the first story of the week. Second, the glass cliff continues. We talked about the new CEO at Qantas, Vanessa Hudson, who is cleaning up another shit show. So that's the second story of the week. Third story of the week, Elon Musk blames the Anti-Defamation League for destroying basically the entire value of his company, Twitter, or X, whatever.
Yeah.
And the fourth, so he's going to threaten to sue them. And the fourth story of the week, in the first monopoly trial of the modern internet era, the U.S. is going after Google. I think that trial is starting this week. Is that right?
Yeah, it's really fast.
Yeah.
I for me, it would come down between the glass cliff and the monopoly trial, and I think it's the monopoly trial, and I think that for two reasons. Number one, I don't know why they chose Google, who has the better product than Facebook, Meta, who has
or maybe the less destructive product, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. They're all fairly terrible for humanity.
Right. Yeah.
But I do think that like Zuckerberg owns 90% of one thing, right? And Google owns 90% of another thing, which is search, and social media is basically, and I think searching for shit is significantly less worse for society than watching heinous videos and having 14-year-olds die from chip challenges.
Alphabet does own YouTube, of course.
They do. And they have their own problems, but they do not. That is like a small sliver of social media compared to what Zuckerberg owns. Zuckerberg owns the way most people communicate with one another now.
Yeah.
Google owns the way most people search for rubber ducks on the internet, right? Like,
true.
Which one seems fucking worse to you? So I like that this is happening because it needs to. And I like that both companies are fake public companies. So Google is not a real public company. It's owned by Sergey and Larry.
According to the New York Times, the 10-week trial is set to begin tomorrow. There we go.
Ooh, I like that. Should we live stream the entire trial?
Yes. Goodliest story of the week. We only have two choices from our notes. Ryanair's CEO Michael O'Leary hit with cream pies by climate protesters.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that was while he was complaining about air traffic controllers going on strike, I think. And then they hit him with a pie. And second, President Biden bars oil drilling across a wide swath of Alaska's Arctic.
I mean, given that these are my only options, I'm going to go with the second one. It's not the pies.
Well, you're part of the problem here because I don't think you submitted a good list last week.
I didn't. No.
Assholiest story of the week. This is a category controlled by you. The three options. First, the great article by Sharon Bentley Hamlin, has ESG gone off the rails? That was a wonderful article where she claimed that the reason why there aren't more women in management at some of these firms is that they're not competent enough.
No, she said specifically, it would be great to add women if they were competent. However, they have those women haven't come forward. So she didn't say there were incompetent women. She just said, "Oh, it's their fault they're not on the board because they haven't come forward."
Because they haven't
the competent ones haven't come forward.
The networking disaster created by the men over the last 7,000 years. They haven't figured out how to.
It's the women's fault. Though.
Yeah, it's the women's fault. Got it.
That's the point.
Number two, second assholiest story, assholiest choice. You went right after the chair of the Tesla's nominating committee, Ira Ehrenpreis. He controls 5% of the influence at Tesla because I'm guessing Elon Musk has roughly like 70% of the influence. And the reason why you targeted Ira is that he claims to have governance and legal expertise according to the company's skills matrix, and you're wondering why, given this, he doesn't fire probably the biggest governance disaster of a CEO at any company, Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
So last week you pulled no fewer than 15 headlines.
That was just in a week. That was just that week.
That was just that week, right? Yeah. Like that was just like Monday to Wednesday, and they were all horrible. And I can't understand how the head of the nominating committee doesn't say, "I have governance and and legal expertise. This is a governance problem and a legal problem. We need to have a different CEO.
I mean,
that guy.
You don't even have to wade into the muck for this. You could just be like,
you don't have to go that far.
You could just be like, dude, you spend all your time running X and Twitter, whatever it's called. That could be enough, right?
And
really, do you need much more than that?
And when you're not doing that, you're running SpaceX and you're turning off satellites for the Ukraine war because you don't feel like it. And you are working on AI.
Stoking global anti-Semitism. How about that one?
And then in your spare time, you're inserting chips into monkeys' brains to control their thoughts. Right. I mean, come on. Okay.
Third asshole of the week, speaking of the asshole you were just talking about, you had a category called Blaming the Jews. First, of course, Elon Musk's epic antic Labor Day weekend against the Jews. And second, this is a story out of Malaysia. Is it Malaysia? Where's Adani?
No, India. Adana's India.
Adani, who's been under fire from every direction in the last 6 months. He's been called out by like a million research firms about how he's basically running a sham of an empire, a corporate empire.
Scheme, yeah.
It's a Ponzi scheme. He is now blaming Soros-funded interests after media raised new questions about the business empire. And according to you, Matt, the Soros-funded interest represents it's only 4% of total funding at an organization that roots out corruption. So I don't.
Yes,
that's just like blatant, silly anti-Semitism.
So they basically said that it's like they implied that when you say Soros-funded interests, you're saying either progressive liberal and or Jew, right?
Well,
like there's no other thing,
yeah.
Which means you're just saying like Jewish people are attacking me.
Jewish progressives? Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Jewish progressives. When the funding is like a minuscule amount of that one media firm that they're pointing out, right? Like,
well, he's trying to get the anti-Bud Light people to join his, right? Like, he wants to stoke that kind of.
The reason why they're under fire is because Hindenburg Research, which has nothing to do with Soros, wrote a giant, and I mean multi-100-page research paper pointing out how Adani basically is a Ponzi scheme.
Basically, Adani's the Hindenburg, essentially.
I don't understand how, like, now we're talking about Soros. Like, now we're in flaily, crazy.
True.
You know, look at there's a Jew over there. Look, I mean, like, what is that?
Yeah. All right, so which is the asshole? Yeah, which is the asshole? That's holiest.
I'm gonna go with because I can't go with Ira because it's like a perpetual. I'm gonna go with Sharon Bentley Hamlin. Is what I'm gonna go with. Yeah,
I like it.
Because she works at Aubrey Capital Management. She's a director there. What she said in the article was, we have like a good gender balance. That's what she says in the article about Aubrey Capital Management. And we spent Wednesday ripping apart how 100% of their portfolio managers are male. 88% of their investment team is male. The two women other than her who are on the investment team are junior and do the ESG stuff, right? Like, so they have no power. And she has effectively the chutzpah to go out and say, we do women well and women are to blame for not having board seats.
Maybe she didn't realize that she was posting this to like an actual publication. Maybe she thought she was just
I think she thought no one was
like
going to read
Strive
it.
Asset Management.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the assholiest of the week. And finally, the exhaustingest. This is a category compiled by Jesse the Money Whisperer, who got married for the 400th time this weekend.
Yes, she did. Yeah.
I heard it was a Burning Man muddy disaster. That's what I heard.
The first 4 hours were delightful, and then the next 4 hours were
you were there for
the
8
Fire
hours?
Festival.
You were there for 8 hours?
No, I was there. I was there for 1 hour.
I was going to say congratulations
during the delightful part.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But apparently it was the first 4 hours of which I was a part of one, and Ari came to. Was delightful. We all celebrated Jesse's love for the 73rd time, and then the 4 hours after that. was basically the Fire Festival, where everyone was like huddled under tents and eating, bologna sandwiches, and there's mud everywhere. Yeah.
Here's what she picked, exhaustingness of the week for last week. Corporate obsession with productivity. She gives 2 examples. Bosses are tracking how long you're working and using it to judge your performance, and leaked Microsoft document to reveal a new employee rating system only visible to managers. I like that. I want to see that.
Yeah,
I like that one.
They should make that public. Yeah.
Yes,
where's my
8K
around that? Yeah.
Yeah. Then we can start a fantasy worker league. I like that one. The number 2 exhaustingness of the week. September 5th was Equal Housework Day. It's time for women to quit housework again. So this is based on reporting that the average woman spends so much more time on chores than the average man that to equalize the load, women would have to quit the housework entirely on September 5th for the remaining.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is up.
What a day.
The good news is that this is actually an improvement from last year, which was August 29th. Because, Matt, based on the research, men are doing 12 minutes more a day of chores this year, although women are also doing 5 minutes more this year. I don't get that part of it. Why?
It's net minutes.
It's a net 7 minute bonus there. Yeah.
Look, that's like how many? That's like 4.5 TikToks you can watch. It's pretty good.
That's Equal Housework Day. And the third exhaustingest story of the week, Zoom's new AI tool will tell you if you're bad at meetings. The stupidest thing I ever heard. Really, honestly, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But I do want to play with it. I actually would like to be evaluated.
Does it? How does it tell you? Does it tell you like, in order to improve this meeting, consider blah blah blah, or is it more like that was not
your grammar?
Great?
Maybe it checks how many times you said the word or like what you were staring at, or maybe like what you were also surfing while you were on the meeting. I don't know. I have no idea really. There's so many things that they could delve their dirty little AI hands into. Really,
I want them to say that was not great.
Like you ate too many Cheetos.
I do like this is like Zoom changed their. If you remember from this show, Zoom had changed their terms of service so that all Zooms would be fed into AI to teach it, which then a week later, after they'd done that with all the AIs during that week or all the calls during that week, they changed it back. So you can't do that without consent. But now they have a new AI tool to tell you're bad at meetings, which means people will opt in for the joke of let's see if I'm bad at meetings, right. And then it will use all of that.
I'll be that idiot.
You'll be the idiot telling Zoom everything. Yeah. I'm going to go with the September 5th was Equal Housework Day.
Okay, all right.
What I like about that is we have figured out a way to mark the day on the calendar for almost every thing that we take advantage of some other group of people.
Terrible. Yeah.
Right? Like I like the act of constantly, like the entire calendar could be like, this is like trans black female day. And
that would be like that would be like in February probably.
That'd be like January 3rd. Yeah. And it would be like, this is the day that CEOs have made more than trans black female earns in an entire year. Right?
Entire lifetime.
Let's just make a day all the time. I like that.
All right, I feel exhausted by that answer. But Matt, you got the entire quiz. Right, correct, right. Your truth is true. That's it. That's all I got.
That's the best and most likely outcome, considering I played against myself. That's Damian Rollis. I'm the analyst soul, Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float. Vivek, that's what truth sounds like. When you actually analyze the real headlines and realize that they're not actually, which one's the best? That's truth. Because no one anywhere could even complain about that. We'll be back again on Wednesday with more Business Pants. Until then, goodbye.